The heroes of Overwatch have a variety of ultimate abilities, each of which can pack a considerable punch in the enemy team when used correctly. Contrary to popular belief, there's more to an ultimate than pressing Q. My name is Taco, and welcome to Blizzard Guides. Using any hero's ultimate ability effectively comes down to the situation you are in, the heroes on the enemy team, and, most importantly, which hero you're playing. A wasted ult could be the difference between a win or a loss, which is why we've compiled a list of top 7 ultimates that we see being used incorrectly in no particular order. Coming in at number 7 is Zarya's Graviton Surge.
Now, which I think is a good change. The Reaper generally doing a little bit better in this third part. And wow, Graviton Surge Azuma goes in. Big aggressive move by South Korea. Will it pay off though? Looks like it is so far. Kills coming in. There's the Dragon Blade, the nano boost on Arhan, and they absolutely wreck.
While the use of this ultimate seems fairly straightforward, we find ourselves witnessing baffling Grav plays. So all you wannabe Zarya mains out there, listen up. Grav can be a game-changing ult, but it only reaches its maximum potential when paired with other ultimates. Like most other heroes, Zarya could never use her ult without first communicating her intentions with her team. You should work on coordinating an ult combo before you even have your ult. Some of the best heroes to combo with are Hanzo, Tracer, and Reaper. So look for any of those heroes on your team and get to talking. Remember those baffling Grav plays I mentioned earlier? Here are some other things you should definitely not do. Don't Grav in the middle of a team fight that you're clearly winning. Grav should be used when engaging. If you weren't there for this, then you missed your opportunity. Don't Grav alone. You should always have the help of your teammates to clean up those kills. Don't grab without coordinating with your team. You never know. That Genji on your team might also have his Dragon Blade, so check with them before ulting. Even though Gravs should primarily be used to increase the yield of your teammates' ultimates, that doesn't mean you can't use it to your own benefit as well. You should try your best to have high energy when deploying your Graviton, and use your beam to focus one enemy at a time. Some people seem to think that damaging more enemies is better, but it's always better to give your team a numbers advantage. Lastly, know your counters, but don't be afraid to use your ult. It's far better to hit 2 or more squishies with your Grav than get a 6-man that includes a Reinhardt shield or a Zenyatta with Transcendence. This also ties back in with communication and coordination. If the enemy team has a Zenyatta, you'll want to make sure your Ana, if you have one, knows to save her Bionic Grenade for the Grav. Or, if they have a Reinhardt, you might want your team to focus on him first, or bust out that cheeky Sombra play for the memes. Number 6. Resurrect. Mercy's Res is arguably the strongest ultimate in the game, yet most players use it incorrectly. Most of the time, Mercy players will get tunnel vision and spend so much time looking for that sick 5-man res that they end up never using it until the end of the game. As with Zarya, don't be afraid to use your ult. Don't worry, your ult will come back. Unlike my dad.
Why are you the way that you are?
Use it whenever it gives your team a possibility of winning a fight, even the slightest one. And I know this might hurt some of you out there, but yes. This means using your res for 2 players instead of holding on to it for more of your teammates to die. Consider this, if there's a team fight going on and each team trades 2 kills and you res your 2 teammates, not only have you just turned a 4v4 into a 6v4, the 2 teammates you resed are now full health, putting an immense amount of pressure on the enemy team. I feel like this doesn't need to be mentioned, so I'll touch on it briefly. Mercy players should be very good at hiding. The enemy team will obviously be looking to pick you first in a team fight. The only real way for you to combat this is hiding. If you're dead, you can't heal, you can't res, and you can't battle Mercy. You're useless when dead. Remember that. Number 5. Riptire. The primary weakness of the Riptire is the greed of the Junkrat player. So many Riptires end up being destroyed and wasted, all because of the kill-hungry nature of the operator. When using a Riptire, you need to think about the enemy's perspective. Junkrat's ultimate isn't exactly silent. In fact, I'd say it's quite fear-inducing. Once the enemy hears your ultimate coming, they'll constantly be worried about where it is until it's either destroyed or ends their life in a rubber explosion of glory. Don't use your ult for the kills, use it for the psychological factor. Well, and then the kills. Although this may seem counterintuitive, don't immediately go after the enemy with your tire. Run into a wall for a few seconds and allow the team to push in. The sudden lapse of attention from the enemy will give your team the perfect opportunity to coordinate a push. Swooping in at number 4 is Hanzo's Dragon Strike. Most people believe the Dragon Strike is one of the worst ultimates in the game. And they'd be right. If you're a Hanzo main, just uninstall. However, Hanzo's ultimate does have some redeeming qualities. As much as I'd hate to admit it, Dragon Strike can be effective in a few specific circumstances. The first and most obvious one is using it down a corridor or a choke to push the enemy back and potentially get a few picks. Dragon Strike's main use though is zoning the enemy team while simultaneously blocking their vision, allowing your team to push in more aggressively. As far as damage goes, Hanzo's ult is best used when paired with a well-placed grab from Zarya. In this case, there's no need to worry about those pesky shields getting in the way. If the enemy happens to have Zenyatta, just ask a friendly neighborhood Ana to nano boost you, which will allow your Dragon Strike to melt through that transcendence like a 1,000-degree knife through butter. Dashing in at number 3 is Pulse Bomb from Tracer. Tracer is a fast-paced hero, and her ultimate is no exception. Far too often we do see Tracers that hold onto their Pulse Bomb too long, even though it's one of the fastest charging ultimates in the game. While it's nice to be able to combo with Zarya, you should never wait on her to get her ult. It should be the other way around. As the general rule of thumb, Tracer should be able to get 2 Pulse Bombs before your Zarya has a grav. Generally, your main targets as Tracers should be Reinhardt, Roadhog, when he's self-healing, Bastion, and Ana. You should focus less on trying to get that 3-man squishy bomb, and focus more on hitting the large and stationary targets like the ones I mentioned, the only exception being Ana, who is such a valuable target it's worth the chance of missing your ult. With that said, it's typically understood that Tracer will be the one to engage first in a team fight. Getting a single pick with Tracer's ult can give your team the edge it needs to dash ahead. Jumping in at number 2 is Winston with his Primal Rage. There's not much to say for our good friend Winston, except that his ult is best used to stall on points during control maps. Going bananas in OT could give your team just the stall they need to regroup and make the comeback. Another useful tactic is getting in an enemy soldier's face when he has attack visor, and especially if he has attack visor and nano. If he can't see past your hairy chest, then your team is safe and sound.
So if anyone does go address that, they probably could find those kills. Dufran's going to get the nano boost without visor again, and Nico and AKM finding some kills means Dufran is going to actually get the visor active now. Primal Rage is up in his face trying to block all those shots.
One more thing, Winston's ult is not about dealing damage. It's about absorbing it. Remember, be the sponge. That is all you need to do as Winston. Finally, rolling into number 1 is Macri's Deadeye. Any Macri main will tell you that if you have your heart set on that sick 4-man Deadeye play of the match, then you're out of your mind.
Got 4. Dude, I just shat on.
Macri's Deadeye should be used as a zoning tool, not for eliminations. With that said, if you think you can pull off a sneaky Deadeye, or pick a poorly positioned enemy with your ult, then go for it. That's it for our top 7 ultimates that you're using incorrectly. Is there another ultimate you can think of that's grossly misused? Be sure to mention it in the comments below. If you liked this video, be sure to like and subscribe for more Blizzard related content in the future. Once again, my name is Taco, and I'll see you guys in the next one.